Hey everyone, this is Tara Cantu Nishimoto, and I wanted to, for my final discussion, just do a video. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to everyone for a wonderful summer class. These classes go so quickly, and it can be quite challenging, and I really appreciated reading everyone's discussion posts, and it seemed like a really good group of people who were really trying to get the most out of class, so that was awesome. I'm going to talk about the 5 concepts that really impacted my view this semester, and I kind of pulled one from each module. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was really the importance of self-care and how that was prioritized in our first module. As service providers, I know, at least for myself, that self-care is usually the very last thing that I think about. I'm always trying to prioritize other people's needs and how I can help them and what I can do to better their situation. And that goes at work and at home. So by having the first module talk about self-care and really emphasizing the need for self-care in the social work profession, it helps to kind of keep that put it in the forward place in your mind, and really focus on that, or at least allow yourself to have some sort of trigger or warning feeling or emotion when you are experiencing some burnout. And I know that social work burnout is something that is talked about a lot, and so really thinking about ways, even little tiny ways in which we can take care of ourselves, I thought was really important and a great way to start off this semester. The next concept I wanted to talk about has to do with familyness, and I loved learning about different types of families, and to be honest, I didn't really think about too much, and that is just, I guess, something that I need to take a look at, that there are different types of families. Like, I personally, when I'm not looking through a social work lens, just if someone considers themselves a family, I consider them a family. However, in the social work practice, thinking about families as a traditional model and an alternative model really helps kind of see where the need is. One thing that I realized while I was reading the chapter is this idea that that families are, the definition of families directly impact policies and inform policies and laws and guidelines that are in our community, which can then translate into oppression and discrimination. For example, someone who is part of the LGBTQ community and is hospitalized, and their partner is not on paper a family member, that they may be denied access to their family. So that was just something that I really needed to take a look at and think about. And I loved how there are different stages of family, and people may exit and enter family. Children may grow up into adults, but it doesn't change the fact that they are a family, and that family structure is still there. The third thing I wanted to talk about, the third concept, was in our groups module, and it was a great part in the chapter where it talked about groupthink. And I think we are kind of seeing today a lot of groupthink in the situations that are happening in our world, with a pandemic, with a rise in the demand for anti-racist policies and legislation. So a couple of things that stood out to me with groupthink and ways to sort of steer away from groupthink were to encourage evaluation between members of the group, allow opinions from the group and not directly from the executive team. So really thinking about groups as a collective and everyone's opinion counts. And to include folks who are within and outside of your group for important decisions. And this is important in social work practice because we as social workers are challenged with caring for people. We are here to promote the well-being and safety and health of people. And so there may be times where we are faced with opposition in what we feel is the right thing to do. And so I think it is important to remember different perspectives and challenge those perspectives when they don't sit well with us. A fourth concept that I thought was really cool were in organizations to be mindful when we are seeking our professional career. Be mindful of the organizations that we are interested in working for. Challenge their infrastructure, challenge their culture and their climate. Do some research on what kind of approaches that they have. For example, my organization, I work for Rubicon Programs. We're in the Bay Area in California, and we have a very feminist approach to organizational impact and the organizational infrastructure. And we rely on the wisdom of the frontline staff and service providers to inform the management team, who then informs the executive team, and then the CEO and the board. So I think it's really important to be mindful of where we are looking for employment, because we may have all the ideas, but if we don't have an organization that supports us, it's going to be really challenging, and that can also directly relate back to burnout. The last concept I wanted to talk about was in community and different kinds of communities, and I thought that it was really interesting and really thought-provoking when I was watching the video, how there are people who are in communities that they had no real decision or choice in the matter. The example in the video were folks who had been diagnosed with cancer. They are part of a cancer community. I did my community evaluation, or a community analysis, on homelessness. And folks who are experiencing homelessness generally do not make an informed and conscious decision to no longer have a home. So to just be really mindful of that and think more abstractly about different communities and how they impact the larger communities around them, and to think about what different organizations or different communities there then inform the community that you're in. Like I said, for example, when I was my community analysis was on homelessness. At first I was thinking that the homeless community was just the people who were experiencing homelessness. But as I started thinking about it, really the continuum of care, which is a community in and of itself of law enforcement, nonprofit leaders, community members who all work toward providing services to homeless are also part of that homeless community. So, yeah, I really loved this this class, and it really gave me, which makes sense because it's a macro social work class, but like a big picture idea on social work roles, ideas about community development, and I feel like at the macro social work level, a change that I could see in my practice is working to incorporate more restorative and transformative justice ideals into how I provide services to my the participants in my community, the people in my community, and how working with at the local and state and federal levels to ensure that policies are put into place to protect and support communities of all types, and that there are other ways that we can establish healthy communities and healthy individuals that may not include law enforcement, that may not include social work professionals. So thinking more holistically on how we can best support our community and how we can help the communities rely on one another. And then finally, the course assignment that I liked the best, I think, was the genogram assignment. It was really cool and really eye-opening to see how throughout my family's history, there was a lot of repeated patterns. And so I think that that's really important to take a look at and to be mindful of, so that we can see where there may be patterns and where it might be important to try something different or to break a pattern in hopes that it will better the family structure. So that is my final discussion. And once again, I want to thank everyone for a great semester, and hopefully I'll see some of you in another one of my classes. And yeah, so thank you so much. Bye-bye.